Welcome, everyone. I am here today with Karthik, the CEO of Selligent, our CEO. Welcome, Karthik.
Hey, thank you, Nikki. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, how are you doing today? You live on the East Coast, even though you have a background of the West Coast. How are you doing?
In my mind, I'm on the West Coast, but I'm in lovely Raleigh, North Carolina, in my home office. So yeah, I'm doing
Good,
well and keeping my social distance from everybody. So yeah.
good. And so how have you been coping? Right, you're a leader of Selligent, of our organization. How have you been coping? How you've been enabling the team, our clients, to cope through all this?
Well, Nikki, it's been an interesting first month of being the CEO of our company, and really the focus has been, as a leadership team, we've always believed in the key focus as being our employees, clients, and our businesses in that order, right? We've always, as a corporate culture, that's what we believed on. So in the same vein, right, we got exposed to this issue a lot earlier than most because we have offices in Europe, especially in Milan, which, as we all know, Italy was impacted, one of the first European countries to be impacted. So we were able to react to it a lot faster. We mandated work from home a lot earlier, starting with the European offices and then our US offices as well. And look, I think we've been very lucky to live in this digital age where our employees have been able to seamlessly work from home and take care of their families. Very lucky to do that, right? And I think the other thing is, coming as a work from home person myself for the last 20 years, I think I was able to add one little value to our IT and our MIS staff, be able to get our employees up and running fast. The other thing we've also been able to do is get happy hours and bring your kids to a Zoom conversation, organized to just get our overall, not just our employees but their families engaged in what is a fairly disruptive occurrence in our day-to-day life. And then finally, right, I think our clients, I mean, look, our employees, because we've been able to bridge the gap between working from our office to working from home. We've been able to support our clients through what is a very tough business condition that none of us have seen before, and we've been able to keep our communication going both with our prospects and our customer base. And I think overall, I think people are holding it together. But thank goodness for digital communication and for living in this digital era that we are lucky to be part of at this point.
No, absolutely. And we have to thank people like Eric over at Zoom for enabling this,
Oh,
right?
Eric, thank you. Yes.
uh, so you mentioned working from home. I have to say, agreed. I mean, you're swift to enable the team, right? So you put a mandate in, work from home, and then you shared your perspective, 20 years working from home, tips and tricks, be authentic. I was just off a call this morning with some of the team in Brussels, and they said how important that was.
Yeah.
So, that was great. And then the happy hour. Talk more about the happy hour and the culture that you're building with it.
Well, it was odd. My kids thought I was having a beer at 11:30 a.m. yesterday morning, but it was great. I mean, to be for two things that occurred to me during that one, because of the lack of travel, we had close to 300 people, I think, on the bridge out of our 380 odd employees, which was incredible, right? To be able to have that much level of participation, and then to drive the stories that were being exchanged, right, with our European team, with our San Jose, New York offices, and our London team. It was just and everybody's going through this together, and it was just a good way for us to collaborate and great feedback from our employees, and we will not stop doing that even when all this is behind us. That was an eye-opening experience. What a little bit of beer in your hand will do to get the guard down for our employees. So it was very good for us to see that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Or a cup of coffee, because I'm
Yeah,
3 hours behind you.
exactly for you. Yes, at 7:30 in the morning for you. Yes.
Maybe if it was
Yeah,
a Saturday, I could have a mimosa, but still have the full workday ahead of me. Um,
exactly.
so
Yeah.
you're talking about our clients, and this has been a trying time for everyone, right? We're all in this together, the whole world. Um, our clients, what have you seen, like the industry is the most impacted, and how have they used our platform to help their customers?
Yeah, I mean, look, I think this is an interesting time as we look through, as you know, we have clients over 700 brands across a lot of different verticals in our, in our global customer base. And obviously, the retail, travel, and entertainment industry are absolutely being impacted in the front lines. But we're also seeing pockets where we are seeing, especially in the online retail and in our financial sectors where people are adopting a lot more digital engagement, about how to engage with their customers in a very multi-channel and a very proactive way, right? But more than anything else, right, what I'm most thankful for is we have a great client success organization which has been able to immediately engage across our customer base and on how to support them. There are, it's early days yet, right, and we're all adapting to this new reality. Yes, but there are some key themes that are emerging. Yeah, I mean, for one, I mean, you are a CMO and you are seeing how we are engaging with the prospects. But the first thing that with our global, our platforms, what is showing us is we're seeing a lot of email engagement, right? I mean, years ago people were talking about email being dead, but that is not true at all. What we are seeing is with a lot more work from home, we are seeing a lot more email engagement. The second things we're also seeing is, the balance between email, desktop usage, and mobile. We are seeing the pivot a little bit. Not that mobile's going anywhere, but we are also seeing the stay-at-home having it. It's skewing the usage towards desktop versus mobile a little bit. And this also, what that leads us to believe, right? We got to have a little bit more deliberate thought process about how we look at the UI UX from a form factor as we engage with our clients in this one, right? So it's not just one form fits
Mhm.
everything. And then overall, the overall shift to digital communication, like I said before, right? It's not just for employees; it's for customers, how they're engaging. So being digitally native and being up that knowledge and using that as a paradigm in our engagement is becoming key. Is what we are hearing from our clients the most. Those are the key three themes that we are seeing in the early days of in these times, I would say.
Okay. So it sounds like communication's key and to use the right channel. So to use email, to use SMS, to use the right channel that works for the audience. So if you have one piece of advice, as we wrap this up, if you have one piece of advice for the folks watching this, what would it be?
Look, I would say, right? I mean, I would say, in terms of advice, there is not a holy grail to say this is what works or not, right? What I would highly recommend is do go back to basics, right? Continue to engaging with your customers, right? Watch the engagement and adapt. Double down on what works and reduce on others, right? And key through all of the engagement has always been empathy, but it's never been more important than not. And then being consistent in the communication and being authentic, right? There is not a, it's how you engage. Make sure it's relevant to your audience, and make sure you're consistent with it. And look, the last thing I would also say, right? You know, it's planned for the future, right? This too shall pass is what I tell it to my kids and I tell it to our employees, right? But it's also kind of envision what the business opportunity and the business world might look like in the future, and what your clients need, your customers need might look like going forward as well. So well, that is true depending no matter what the industry is, but also plan for the future because this will not last forever, right? And it looks like dark times now, but the sun will shine, right? And it will get better, and we're going to bet on that. That's what I would recommend our client. That's what we tell our clients, and that's what they should be thinking about how they engage with their customers as well.
That's a really good point. We were just on a virtual roundtable lunch earlier this week,
Yeah.
and a couple of the people on the lunch said, we're dusting off projects that are on the top shelf that seem too hairy to tackle. And we're dusting them off and doing it now because we
Yeah.
know we're going to get through this,
Yep.
right? So if there's those big, hairy projects that you just kind of haven't been able to tackle because you didn't have the mind share,
Yep.
now's the time to do it.
Yeah, and look, Nikki, the one thing I will say here, right, and I think you heard me say this on our employee call the other day, happy hour. we have been given in a strange way, set of circumstances, the gift of time, right? Like I think to your point just now, is how do we use it and how do we repurpose the time is going to be very vital. And I think the people who use it and channel that this energy into that, into how do to something more deliberate and with a plan to the future, are going to come out stronger out of this. And we plan to absolutely do that, right? For our clients. So
Great. So take advantage of this gift of time.
yep,
Dust off projects maybe you didn't have the mind share for. Execute on them so that way when we get through this, you'll be set up for success.
absolutely.
Great. Well, thank you, Karthik. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank you.
thanks everyone for watching.